Good morning. Good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to this online course. Today we are going to discuss unit number 15, a short story, and the title is Once Upon. So, outline of this chapter, outline of this lecture is introduction, the writer's information, a story, other information, how to write good story, and important terms, and some questions which are asked in the examination. Brief introduction. So definitely it is very good, very interesting, and a very meaningful story. Why it is very short? Because even though it is very short, but it has very deep meaning. Everybody should read this three times. I have read it 10 times, but even though I'm getting excited to read this. Okay. First, I will just read out the story, and then I will tell you in detail about the story. So let's start. Once upon, man has lost the capacity to foresee and to forestall, and he will end by destroying the earth. Albert Schweitzer, one of the very famous writers, has given that man has lost the capacity to see, foresee, and forestall, lost the capacity to see the future. Even what he is doing right now, if the human understand, then definitely he will not do it. If human thinks about the future, then definitely he will stop the activities which are damaging for the environment. So once upon an unfortunate time. Okay, the story, the content has been developed in a story form, so definitely story always starts from once upon an unfortunate time there was a hairy thing called a man. The story, if you want to try to understand the story, try to think that like a dinosaur. Right now we don't have the dinosaurs to watch it, but before some years, 10,000 before years, or 10,000, 20,000 years before, we had the dinosaurs. So but due to some geographical events, they were destroyed. Okay, but uh, through the sculptures, through the bones, we got it from the somewhere in the forest. We could understand that there was some animal who was very huge, like a dinosaur. So likewise, the writer thought that, a writer thinks that the human has, means what I wanted to say is that humanity or human race was destroyed before some 10-20,000 years. Okay, right now we are getting something, means new generations, new animals like a human came on the planet, and they found that there was some kind of person, some kind of a human animal was there before 10,000 and 20,000 years back. So if you understand this situation, definitely this will help you to understand this story. So once upon an unfortunate time. This is very bad, means this is very tricky words. It has been written by the writer. Unfortunate time. Fortunate is very good things for all the all things. But human was not good for environment. Because of that reason, the writer has used unfortunate time. There was hairy thing called a man. Along with him was a hairer thing called animal. Okay. Now, suppose think that the whole human and whole world was destroyed before 10,000 years, and now we got some evidence that there was something like this human. Okay, so man had a larger brain which made him think he was superior to animals. So, due to the brain and intelligence, he was thinking that he was superior to animals. Some men thought they were superior to others. So all the humans are not equal. You know that some people think that they are higher. their religion, their culture, their heritage are higher than other cultures, human, etc. They became a leader man. The leader man said, "We have no need to work. We'll kill animals to eat," and so did. So in the beginning, just evolution, the human, you think, you just imagine that how the human evolved. Some before means before some years we were eating the animals. Humans were eating the animals. So they have eaten all the animals. Man had increased and animal decreased. The situation is like today's situation. Eventually, leader man said there are not enough animals left to eat. So we must grow our own food. So man diverted to the cultivations and agriculture practices to grow foods because human population has been increased and there was no more animals in the forest in the so man grew food. Now the only animals that had not been destroyed were teeny ones like rabbits and mice, and these little animals were caught eating some of man's crops. These animals are a menace, they must die. So we know that after the development of this agriculture, we are using the pesticides and other things to kill the animals, so insect and birds and everything. So first human used animal for eating, and later on he developed agriculture. Later on he used pesticides and other chemicals to destroy all the insects, birds and animals. And these only the animals means only the small animals were left. In China they killed all the sparrows. In Australia they killed all the rabbits. In India they killed all the snakes. Everywhere man killed all the life, wildlife. Soon there was none, and all the birds were poisoned. Little man said, "At last we are free of pests." Everything was killed. Every animal was killed on the earth. Man's number increased. The world became crowded with man. They all had to sleep standing. Population increased. One day a leader man saw some new creatures eating his crop. These creatures' name was the starving people. Some poor people were demanding the foods and eating their foods. So these creatures are menace, they save the leader man. And also they killed some people also. So this essay is adopted from the Little Pot Boiler by Spike Milligan. Very interesting, but due to the greediness and desire of human being, the whole world, the whole animals, insects, and environment we have been destroyed. दरवाजा लावा रे. आवाज बंद करा म्हणलं तुम्हाला. So this is a textbook. Spike Milligan, The Little Pot Boiler. Terence Allen Patrick Sean Milligan, known as Spike, was a comedian, writer, and musician. He was of Irish descent but spent most of his childhood in India and lived most of his later life in England, moving to Australia after retirement. He is famous for his work in The Goon Show, children's poetry, and series of comical autobiographical novels about his experiences serving in the British Army in World War II. Spike Milligan suffered from bipolar disorder, which led to depression and frequent breakdowns, but he will be remembered as a comic genius. His tombstone reads, "I told you I was ill" in Gaelic. So the short story tells the story of a man in real sense of word. In the history of evolution of life on the earth, a breed called man came to existence. Other animals and plant life also came to existence along with the man. At the early stage, the mankind was not developed as we see today, but men were more intelligent than the other animals. They started thinking and improving themselves. This developed a kind of superiority complex among the men. Among the men, Some were superior to others and had to quality of leading. They made other men to follow them. These superiors are called leaders. The leaders forced no other not to work but kill other animals to eat for their survival. And the other blindly followed the leader. The tradition is by and large continued till today. The population of a man increased and the animal decreased as the cruelty of man to the other animals. A day came when there were not enough animals to eat, therefore the leader asked fellow men to grow their own food. Hence man started cultivating crops. By the time the only animals survived in spite of brutality of a man were small animals, rabbits and mice. So this small creature used to destroy the crops and the man grieved. Therefore the cunning and greedy leaders ordered to kill those small creatures, calling them as a threat. Eventually, all the wildlife was perished. The leaders boasted that finally they got rid of all the pests, so-called threat to man, fooling the followers that destruction they had done to themselves and the nature. The man's number kept increasing. The planet became too small to occupy all the men. All the resources fall short to feed the mankind. They had not enough space even to sleep comfortably. One day a leader man saw some starving people eating his crops. These starving people were the unwanted new creatures for him and ordered his men to kill these new kind starving ones, calling them a meaningless. So this will definitely happen to us if we imprudently follow the greedy and greed leaders and rulers. Maybe most of us would fall under the category of starving people. This story is symbolic of how we are destroying natural resources, leading to our doom. Humans are causing life on Earth to vanish by Tamanna Begum, first published 12 December 2019. Look at this, how the human has been damaged. This is not, this is not a story, it is a real picture putting in front of you. Over the last 50 years, nature's capacity to support us has plummeted. Air and water quality are reduced, soil are depleting, crops are short of pollinators, and coasts are less protected from storms. Since the 1970s, Earth population has doubled and consumption has increased by 45% per capita. As a result, humans have directly altered at least 70% of Earth's land, mainly for growing plants and keeping animals. About 77% of rivers longer than 1000 kilometers no longer flow freely from source to sea, despite supporting millions of people. So this is a approximate number of described species. Means they are now at the verge of in a threatened world extinctions. Species threatened with extinctions. So these are some species are threatened. The loss of ecosystem is caused mainly by changes in land and sea use, exploitation, climate change, population, and the introduction of invasive species. The ocean may be acidifying faster today than they did in last 300 million years, primarily due to human activities. So this is how the humans are living in a place because they don't have time. Animals are eating plastics due to they are damaged. So with up to 3 billion people expected to be displaced by the effects of global warming by the end of century, should it lead to a shift in the way we think about national borders? Ask Gaya Wins. According to 2020 study published in One Earth, humans significantly altered the Ecosystem across an area size of Mexico as 58% of Earth's land ecosystem experience moderate or intense pressure from human activity. The author also found that out of the Earth's 14 biomes and 795 ecoregions, 46 ecoregions spanning across 10 biomes have been highly affected by human-caused destruction, leading to severe ecosystem and biodiversity loss. Now, how to write the good story? It is also very interesting thing that determine the setting. It means that in which place you are mentioning your story, that is the setting, you have to fix it. Make memorable characters. Some 3 to 4 important characters should be there in every story, which will connect in every part of the story. Understand the 2 types of conflict, means internal conflict and outside the conflicts. Means character, they have some inside conflicts, mental conflicts, and some have conflict with other characters. So give your plot a twist. Climax should be there in your story so that this audience should get interested to read your story. Recreate natural dialogue. That is interesting. Next, this information I have taken from the masterclass.com. The important terms: a story that teaches a moral or a truth is called a moral story. A story about great people who never actually lived is folklore. To prospect is to form an idea or judgment about what is going to happen in the future. To check is to prevent someone from doing for something by doing it earlier than expected. To foretell is to predict. To alert is to warn someone for coming danger, unpleasantness. To forecast is something which suggests a threat or bring danger. Pests are small animals or insects that harm or destroy food. Some important terms here have been used for examination point of view. So what is the most exciting event of the story? Where is it mentioned? So exciting stories that man killed animals, grew crops to eat. They even killed small creatures which destroyed their crops. So these are the population of a man was so increased that some even didn't get food. Therefore, the starving people started eating the crops of crops the other grew. The leader man ordered to kill them starving people, calling them a villains. Hence, killing the starving people is the most exciting event of the story, and it is mentioned at the end. So, who are the leader man mentioned in the story? Are there leader man in our society? Can we name some types of leaders? This question is also important from an examination point of view. Already I have discussed this answer in the previous section, so I will not repeat it. So thank you very much for listening to me and giving your valuable times.